What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Simsational Gent. I am your host, Sean C. Can you guys hear me? Uh-oh, echo. Sorry, y'all. Got to cut that off. Actually, I'm about to switch up this view real quick. All right, there we go. There we go. Can y'all see me? Everything good? How we sounding out there? Hello. Uh-oh. Hello, Lucy. How you doing today? So I got a little different setup today. So y'all got to work with me today. Like I decided to try to like set it up behind with the green screen so that way it's better for chopping up later or using later and stuff like that. But I am doing fine, Lucy. Hold on, let me see if I can get to this screen real quick. So Lucy says, "Hello, Sean. How are you doing?" I am doing amazing. Honestly, like I went out today. I went to go run some errands and stuff like that. And I say errands, I was actually looking for Halloween stuff. And you would be surprised to know I was actually looking for like extra supplies. So when I start doing like more skits that I had like, you know, extra beards and all kind of stuff, right? So I was actually out there looking for a whole bunch of stuff. And to my surprise, the party city that we have near us hasn't set that up yet. So I was a little disappointed because normally, it's filled and it's everybody ransacks it, but they don't even have it set up for Halloween yet. So I guess maybe it's too early. I don't know why you wait. I guess you just surge demand all at one time. I don't know. Maybe there's another place to go to that I don't know about or something like that. But so I went around and did that, and I wound up just buying some clothes, which I needed some clothes. But ironically, I'm going to have to get rid of it in like 4 to 5 months, right? So, but yes, I am doing well. I hope you guys are out there. So listen, um, I know y'all saw the title. I know you saw the thumbnail. Obviously, David Chappelle has been in the news recently and stuff like that. So, one of the things I wrote down that I was going to start doing a little bit more this year than I did the previous year, right? I'll get to you in a second. Let me finish this real quick. And but the one thing that I said I was going to be was a little bit more controversial, and not for the sake of doing it. If I believe something, I've told you everything I believe, you guys. But I think that I am not going to touch on the subject the way people might think I am. But I do think there's some points that are very important. I want to have a discussion about it. And that's what the Simsational Gent is about. It's overall about living your best life. But we can't get there until you start to examine these points, examine some things in you, examine some things that are going to break free the barriers you need to live a free and full life. See, that's the thing. A lot of people are caught by these barriers in life, and they don't realize that those barriers are stopping them from that freedom, from being scared. And let me be honest and be clear. There are certain things that I'm scared of. There's certain things I'm always scared of when it comes to trying new things. But if my life and my career has taught me nothing, it's that by being open, by being pushing, right, by trying new things and doing things that I thought I couldn't do, it's pushed me to do just a little bit more every time. Okay, and let's see what you got here. So it says, wow, most shops here have been set up for Halloween for weeks. And again, I probably was at the wrong spot. I'm sure there's some other place. And if I had done my due diligence and research, I probably would have found it out. It was almost a wasted trip until I was able to actually find some clothes that fit me, Lucy. Because the honest truth is, I put all my weight back on from when I was working. So, which is a good thing. Just, um, so with that being said, look, I didn't know, how many people we get to show up today, but that's fine. I still run this the exact same way if there's one person or 100 people if they showed up. But I want to shout out Lucy, Brick Girls Go Stateside. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it so much, more than you know. And I'm really excited too about tonight because I'm actually going to what'd you say? I'm glad you got some new clothes at least. Yeah, I am too, because as a dude, you know how it is. It's like um, once you get married, it's almost like your wife does all the shopping and stuff like that, or even for some guys in relationships. But when you're single, you're like, you know what? My clothes are clean. Yeah, that works. Unless you're trying to get back out there, put yourself back out there, and then you're going to the gym and then you get new clothes. And that goes for men and women, right? So you just want to put your best foot forward. And I'm not really trying to do that at this point. You know what I mean? You like me, you don't. So, and then when I have an opportunity to find some stuff that fit, I got to take it when I can. All right. So, um, what was I going with this? I was going somewhere. So thank you for being here. If you have not checked it out, you're watching this as a pre-recorded video. Check out Brick Girls Go Stateside. They have an awesome channel, and I love the perspective of these beautiful British ladies that give us perspective between differences between there and America, and share their stories, and just do a variety of things. The channel is simply brilliant, and I'm waiting for the talk show because I want to be on there. Eleanor, how are you doing? Hello, how are you doing? Want to give a shout out to Eleanor Elaborates. Check her channel out. It's a very lovely channel. She's a very lovely person, and I think you will enjoy her content. And then we have my boy Neil Goes Stateside. What's happening, man? How you doing? I know you're probably working and doing your thing and everything like that. I appreciate you being here. Um, check out Neil's channel. Neil is doing Neil on his channel is doing his moneymaker thing where he's telling you about the gig economy. He's also giving you daily encouragements. Check that channel out. All right, and we got the Black Spartan Club. Hey man, glad to see you. Glad to see you, man. It's been a minute, man. Look, man, I like I said, check the channel out, brother. So this guy's going to Black Spartan Club is going to tell you about working out, getting yourself right. Check this channel out. A lot of good stuff on there. While I'm still talking about that, on the subject of it, I also have a second channel here called Simsational Fitness and Wellness. Check that out. And it's, I didn't want to just be just a workout channel where you just see me working out. There's a lot of people doing that. I'm trying to bring you fitness news and information that's going to help you, and not just the information that I get, because I do a lot of research, which is why usually you're going to see one video a week, because I really take that seriously. But it's also, I trained people for many years in the military, right? 20 years in the military, and I was pretty much training people the whole time. I was a leader from the beginning. It was like, you know what, you're going to be the leader, the PT leader. I had us playing basketball. They didn't like that too much. But I was like, we lift weights too. I was like, put any guys here against any of my guys, and I bet you we're going to whip their tail, right? I bet you we're going to outdo everybody. And guess what? We did. So, all right, let's see what Eleanor said. I wasn't feeling well earlier. I cannot read that from there. I wasn't feeling well earlier, but I'm feeling better, so I figured I would tune in. I really appreciate you being here, Eleanor. Hopefully you get something from today's broadcast. I hope you all get something from it. I want to talk about this. I know that Dave Chappelle has been in the news, and if you don't know the story, Dave Chappelle has put out, I believe, 6 specials on Netflix. So he had a deal with them where he put out 6 specials. And in these specials, he's told, some stories and some jokes that have, I thought the specials have been great myself, but we'll get into that, how I feel about it. But they have offended and angered and also brought the ire of the LGBTQ plus community, okay? And specifically, it's the trans community that has a problem with what's going on with Dave Chappelle and stuff like that. So Dave has gotten a lot of backlash over times, and he's weathered the storm. So he had his last special, Sticks and Stones, and that one kind of pushed some buttons, and it really got the LGBTQ community really mad. And then, there was some side stuff that he's heard before, And then he drew more ire with this last special called The Closer, where he went into more detail. Now listen, I'm not here to fully rehash all of that, but I want to say that in those specials, Dave brought up some really good points. I believe that the points that Dave Chappelle brought up in those specials is something that he was giving us warnings about. Dave Chappelle was giving us warnings that we should heed, that we should take a look at, that if we don't look at this and take care of this now, we may be okay, but our kids may not be okay, or our kids may not be okay. He said, wow, man, what was said in that special or no specials that would say that it would affect your kids or your kids' kids? What kind of back to the future stuff are you talking about, Sean? And what I'm going to tell you is we're going to go through all that today. Today, Dave answers the LGBTQ community, and he says that he wants to meet with them and talk about it, but he's not going to talk to them where they want to be and stuff like that. He wants to meet on his, where he's going to be at, and he wants them to, first of all, watch the whole specials before he comes there, and we'll talk about that. And then he talks about the place of his meeting and choosing, and then he talks about agreeing to some other comic who, I don't know if you call him a comic, isn't funny. So, so in classic Dave way, he gets the burn because this person tried to burn him on Twitter, and he was just like, yo, that person ain't funny. Right? Some new wave, new age comedy. Now I want to give some backstory to the fact that I am a big fan of comedy. If y'all know, the reason why this channel has skits on it is because your boy loves to laugh. Okay, I used to get in trouble when I was a kid with my mom, right? And so it would be her birthday or be Mother's Day or something like that, and I would scrape together whatever coins or whatever I could find, whatever, and I would go get my mom a card. And the card was always something silly. The card was always something that had a joke in it or something. And my mom would say, why you bring me this crap? Right? She wasn't being mean like that. She just wanted a different type of card. She wanted that, I love you, you're the best mom in the world, and I couldn't see myself without having a better mother than you, and this, that, and the third, right? All that creamy, glittery, fluffy, okay, all that kind of stuff, okay? She wanted it to be flowery. She wanted it to make her tangle, okay? She wanted to feel like her son loved her, okay? And I don't think I didn't love her. I mean, I love my mom. That really came out wrong. I can't scratch that. This is live. This is live, baby. All right, cool. Man, let me take a sip real quick. How y'all doing out there? Let me know how y'all doing in the chat. The point I'm trying to make with the card and what she wanted and expectations is to say that that's how much that I love to laugh. Even as a kid, I would do that because I wanted my mom to laugh. That was my way of wanting to show her my love. And she wanted something different. And isn't that the case nowadays where we have expectations, preset expectations on things? And then when they don't come out the way we expect, everyone has a comment or an opinion or whatever. We'll get into that. So let's talk about the warnings. Actually, I hadn't even done the banners. So that was the drama, okay? That was the drama that Dave has gone through this. He's catching backlash. They want him to cancel his Netflix special and take it down off of Netflix. And it's a small group of people from the LGBTQ community that works at Netflix that they did a walkout. I believe it was on Monday, where they walk and they picketed. And what I find ironic about that is I support the LGBTQ community for whatever they do and for living their best life. Again, that's what this channel is about, living their best life. I should have put that out as a disclaimer probably about 5 minutes ago, so you guys understood where I stand, that I am for the equal rights of all people. All human beings have a right to live and to live their best life. I believe that is given to us from being born. Now, is everybody in those situations? No, and I wish they could be. I want to stand there. I want you guys to know that I feel that way. I have friends in that community that I love dearly are better than people I know that are just hetero, right? And so I say that to say that this isn't supposed to be a dig on that or even this fight. But the warnings in those specials, it's things that we need to take consideration that's going on in this fight that you may not know about, that you may not have heard about. And I want to make sure that I bring that up today so that you guys are informed. But I also want to put your critical thinking hats on. The other thing is, I want to talk about some things, okay? I want to discuss some things. Let's see right quick. Hold on, I gotta clear all this out. Y'all gotta excuse me. I got a new setup. I got the screen as close as possible, but it's still about 5 feet away from me. So I got to see over there, and I'm blind. Y'all know, you know what I mean? I got to get my Mr. Johnson glasses on, okay? I know y'all know what that is. Okay, let me see what we got here. Eleanor says, yeah, I think my older sister expected me to love makeup, but I've never have. So yeah, there's expectations that people have on you and stuff like that. You can do whatever you want. Eleanor says facts. And she also have friends and family in the LGBTQ community as well. Okay. So look, honestly, from what I'm seeing, most people are not in agreement with cancellation of Dave Chappelle. Most people agree. If you look at Rotten Tomatoes, it's the critics that have the little sign, and it's like 99%. People love is Dave Chappelle. They love him. They know he means well, and he's going to push limits. I want to talk about that here in a little bit. We're going to get back to that. I promise. Stick with me. Okay. So I want to, like, where am I going with this? I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry about that, y'all. Let's get back on track here. So I want to talk about the warnings. Okay. I want to talk about the warnings that we were given by Dave Chappelle, right? That he told us in his specials. I think these warnings, I think that if you just watched it strictly for just the comedy, I think that you're going to miss the messages behind it. And that's what's so brilliant about him as a comedian, because Dave Chappelle will push the limits while trying to get a point across. And listen, I grew up and I used to love Eddie Murphy, and I got to see some of Richard Pryor's stuff. Right, I watched a lot of the older comedians back in the day. Even they were my mom was pretty open about letting me watch a lot of the comedians. I watched Def Comedy Jam when it was coming on TV back in the day, and some of the people that we think of as OGs right now, right, in the comedy and the entertainment game, actually went through that show. Right, Dave Chappelle was on that show. Chris Tucker was on that show. The late great Bernie Mac was on that show. They all got some of their, like, not their starts, but they got their boost from Def Comedy Jam. So when it comes to comedy, I am a full advocate of comedians pushing the limit, especially the more intelligent ones that are trying to get across points so that to have these discussions that we need to have. Sometimes it takes for those comedians that could say what we can't say. See, now, back in the day, you needed those comedians, and you still need them now more than ever. And we'll talk about that why here today. But you need comedians, and you need people more than ever. Because right now, everyone has a voice. Right now, y'all listen to me. Who is this? Some random ass dude named Sean C. Okay? But everybody has that. You guys have y'all platform, whatever. Even if you don't have a YouTube channel like a lot of us here in the chat do, you have Instagram, you have Facebook, and that's the way. And everybody has these little memes they want to show for how they feeling today and stuff like that. And I think that in that environment, we got to talk about that. Lucy, I haven't seen the special yet, so I'm trying not to have an opinion until I've seen it. But I am trying to follow the discussion and hear everyone's voice and concerns on both sides. again, I don't want this to be about their beef, right? Today's discussion isn't about their beef, and I'm about to get to the point. I'm gonna start getting into the warning signs. It's part of their beef, but it's not their full beef. You do have to watch all of Dave's specials to understand what he's trying to get across. And I'm gonna just kind of give you a synopsis, not necessarily tell you what to expect in there. And so so the thing about it is I didn't find that he used any hate speech. If anything, I think he was trying to highlight certain things, and we're going to get into that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Some of the stuff that I have written down is based upon some of the warnings he was trying to give us. So I don't want to get too in depth on what happened, but it wasn't hate speech. But there was language used, and there was language used not by him necessarily, but some things he said was jokes that may have offended people from that community. On the flip side, right? Some people have said that the speech, the things he talked about was akin to violence, and I don't believe that's true. Violence is violence. Violence requires a physical action. Okay, words are not violence. Words could be offensive, yes, very offensive, but they're not violent. If you've been violated or you've experienced violence, right, then you know it's not words. Even though you can be verbally and mentally abused, that is still not violence. Violence is a physical act. Okay. So so there's just a lot of, so to answer your question, there's a lot going back and forth between the two. And again, I don't want to jump into that because that will require me to have more than an hour to talk. What I want to do is get to some of the warnings that he had, and that will kind of go into why he said certain things and stuff like that that I think were missed. I'm looking at the deeper message behind what Dave Chappelle said, not necessarily to rehash it for you all that have not seen the special. I hope that's understood. I see that's hard because you never know what will trigger people. Right. And right. So okay. I want to speak to that point real quick. You never know what triggers people. So what is it that you do? You like a comedian that has to necessarily, everybody right now, every comedian right now is tiptoeing around telling jokes. And in true fashion, we will listen to comedians talk about being fat, and we'll hear comedians talk about being ugly. I didn't say them talking about people, because some comedians have self-deprecating humor where they talk about themselves being fat or ugly, right? And in today's society, we're saying, oh, you can't call yourself fat. You have to call yourself food challenged, or not food challenge, something silly, right? Everything's a goddamn label right now. Now look, I'm gonna tell you right now, some of the things I'm gonna say today may not be in what you've heard me say before. I told you I'm gonna be a little controversial. This is how I feel. And again, I prefaced my statements by saying that I am for the equality of everyone to live their best life. I need that to be known. However, we have to talk about these things, okay? One of the warnings that Dave talked about was his beef was not with the LGBT community. Specifically, he had no beef with the trans community, all right? But the system that perpetuates that's the system around it. See, let me elaborate on this. He doesn't have a problem with you making your choices, right? But there is a system that you can say what you want about a host of other communities. Specifically, if you are a minority community, there are things that are said, and it's like people just turn the eye on. Now, recently, here in Las Vegas, we lost John Gruden, right? So he was the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And what happened was they were doing an investigation into the Washington football team. And then, so in the emails, there was 600 and something thousand emails. And it must have been really bad because all they did, it wasn't an investigation into John Gruden. It was an investigation into the practices of the Washington football team. But what happened? If you don't know the story, John Gruden got fired because there were some emails that popped up, or text messages, emails, and one of them, the first email that popped up was about he talked about the president of the NFLPA, right? The Players Association, NFLPA, right? The National Football League Players Association president, and he had said that he had made derogatory remarks about his lips. Okay, I'm not going to go into it. I don't want to go ahead and put that back out into the world, but I will tell you that it was a racial slur, right? And with that racial slur, everybody came on TV and was like, oh, you know what? He's a good guy. I stand by him and we forgive him and stuff like that. And then some more emails came out right after that. And then it was about some stuff he said about the LGBTQ community. And as soon as that came out, he had to resign. So this is kind of what Dave Chappelle was talking about in his comedy. He's saying that the system is such that it should be equal for all. But why is it that this one community, this not even just that, just right now his beef was just with the trans people. You don't really hear gay people coming out against Dave Chappelle. They love him. Okay? So the trans community is hurt because of some, the way he might have phrased or said his jokes. But it's like, what happens when that same language is used in a way that's derogatory towards black folk? It's always like, well, got to just move on and this, that, and the third. And that's kind of one of the things that Dave Chappelle talked about. So the other thing that comes along with some of the things, the warnings he gave us, that things are not equal. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you got, or not say know this, let me rephrase that. If you remember, there was, because of the coronavirus, there was a lot of hate toward the Asian community. Very disgustingly so, that people were just openly attacking Asian people. All right. I think it's disgusting. I think it's deplorable that you just haul off and go attack somebody because you think they did it. They lived here. What they have to do with bringing said sickness here? I got you. Watch your words out here because it'll get all flagged on the tube here. Right? I hated that. So what happened? They unanimously passed an anti-Asian hate crime bill. Unanimously passed it. Okay? They tried to pass an anti-lynching bill. Lynching, right? The stuff that we like to think they talked about in the history books, right? Like we think it's history. Actually, over the past couple of years, there's been some, right? And of people of color, right? Anti-lynching. Tried to pass that bill. It got shot down. Now you would think, who would be for that? Who would be for that if things are equal? But we know they're not. The system will allow certain things to occur and ignore. They will allow certain things to occur, but not others. I just talked about that email, right? If you can say things about certain communities, you can talk about people of Hispanic descent and Black or Asian, right? Certain groups of white people, you can say certain things, but there's other communities that if you talk about them, right, and you may know these, but if there's certain groups, if you talk about, even if you try to have a discussion, nothing that's offensive, you just want to have a discussion, and it's like, oh, you can't, you're this or you're that. It's labels. Everything's a goddamn label nowadays. Do you see what I'm saying, people? Do you understand where I'm trying to come from? Right? We can't talk anymore to each other. That's why I was pushing pushing for this discussion today because I want to have it. I was silly last week. If you missed last week's live stream, I was talking about scary movies. That was the time for that. This week, we got to talk about some of this stuff because to me, it is essential for going forward to living our best life. I want a life of inclusivity for everyone. Do what you gonna do. It ain't got nothing to do with me. Who you love and how you love and where you love. And, okay? It ain't got nothing to do with me. It ain't got nothing to do with you. For anybody watching that have a problem with what people do in the bedrooms or with their self. Okay? The last thing he addressed, or the last thing I have written down, because he talked about a lot of stuff. He just kind of fused them in multiple jokes. It's cancel culture. Now, we all know what that is. It's, cancel culture has gotten pretty ridiculous now because it's like anything that goes against the masses, the people supposedly get shut down. But I have yet to really, I'm going to go into this later, but I have yet to see the evidence that there's certain things that come up and it's not, I don't believe it's us canceling people. You know what I mean? And we're going to get into that. But cancel culture is a problem. And you might be of the opinion that we should be canceling people. That's a fair criticism to have, and that's a fair opinion to have. I will challenge it here in a little bit, okay? So let me see what's going on in the chat. Eleanor says, yeah, that's messed up. We should be past lynching. Absolutely. So why did it get shut down, Eleanor? You know why? Because there is a system in place. There is a system in place. Eleanor says, yes, things get easily political. Like I have talked to someone from pro-life and people don't get that we can't support every person coming into this world. Well, that's an argument, right? There's an argument for that to say, if you just, first of all, I believe that it should be a woman's choice. Who am I to tell you about your body, right? I will say, though, that there are some inequalities when it comes to when a child is born and when they're supposedly conceived that we should address, because you may not want a baby, but I might want the baby. So can you get you can get rid of it because it's your body, right? It's your body, so you can get rid of it. But even though I might want it, how can I tell you what to do with your body, right? But if that child is born, I'm on the hook for my child, right? So it's kind of like, there's a whole bunch of things. That's a whole topic. I wasn't trying to open that can of worms, but there's a lot to talk about on that one. But I don't want to get political with it. I want to get to these implications, right? I want to talk about the warnings that he gave us. There's implications behind if we continue to go forward, such as we are currently. If we continue to go forward the way we're doing it right now, with cancel culture in place, with everybody being so goddamn easily offended. Actually, I didn't even finish the last point, which I'm gonna just roll it into the implications, okay? Everyone is the problem right now. If someone doesn't agree with that, matter of fact, let me give you a story. I was in the comments of, I was looking at some comments for something else, right? Right now, I'm in the comments a lot for like NFL stuff, okay? And the New Orleans Saints were going to play the New York Giants. And somebody got on TV and had what I felt was a really bad and unfair take on the Saints. I thought it was an unfair take. I didn't think that the facts that he presented represented my team, right? What they're going to do, what they're capable of. So I put in there, I said, this was a stupid comment. and blah, blah, blah. I felt the need to comment down below on that post and say how that person who's on TV was stupid and their face was stupid, okay? Their face is real stupid. And then the Saints were winning, 11 points up to the fourth quarter, and then they lost. And then someone in the comments, comment below my comment, said, wow, this aged well. And you know what I did? I didn't go like, F you, man. You know what I mean? I still don't care. I'm a still ride with him. He's still wrong. Well, you said that he was wrong, that the Saints weren't going to lose. Yeah, but he's still wrong. Well, you can't make them unlose, so you're wrong. Like, I didn't get into an argument that I was wrong about and try to die on a hill that I was completely wrong about. I didn't die on a hill. You know what I did, people? Let y'all know what I did. What I did was I said, you know what? My bad. I was like, you know what? I was wrong and I can admit it. I wrote that down in the comments. I was like, I was mistaken on this game. I still don't like the way he fully talked about my team, but he was correct that they were going to lose based on his assessment. It didn't look that way, again, until the fourth quarter. But as a man, I thought it was important for me to go down in that comments or answer that person with dignity so that they know that not everybody is a goddamn internet troll. Let's see what these comments say. Lucy says it's so difficult because who gets to decide what we can and can't say? Oh, Lucy, you are getting into the crux, into the crux of what I'm about to talk about. Censorship leads to oppression so easily. Don't steal my thunder, Lucy. But how can we keep minorities safe? Not saying that specifically about Dave Chappelle. Listen. You hit some. We're going to get there, Lucy. Stick with me, baby. Stick with me now, girl. She's like, their faces was there. Yeah, his face was stupid. Neil says, people are just too sensitive these days. And that's exactly it, Neil. That's exactly what one of my points under the warnings was. It says everyone is the problem. Too sensitive, and if you just heard the other point I made, they're too polarized. It's like you can't. That was what the example of my story was. It was like, what if I had just gone like, yo, you can never say anything negative about my Saints. Some people like that about their football teams. You can never tell them negative, but you're like, yo, you guys have a terrible coach. You guys don't have a quarterback. You guys have a terrible defense. Like a high schooler can throw touchdowns on them. You see what I'm saying? And they'll be like, yeah, no, we're going to win. Like, I hope nobody Cowboy fans out there. But Cowboys fans, now this year they're good. But every other year they're like, yeah, we're going to go to the Super Bowl. Like, we're 3-5 and we just won a game. And now we're going to go to the Super Bowl. And like, y'all lost 5 games, 3-5. Y'all won 3 and lost 5 games. How do you think you're going to the Super Bowl? Right? This year they're doing really well. But it's that delusion to think that your people, your side, your friends, your situation is so goddamn important that you can't be wrong, that you can't admit when you're wrong. It's called accountability. It's called taking accountability. There are a lot of people that can't take accountability for their actions. There's always somebody else did this shit to me. Excuse my French. It's always somebody did something to that person. And that's what we live in right now. A society of a bunch. And that's what he said in the special, Neil. Now, I can't say what he said because he's Dave Chappelle, and he said it in a way that I'm not going to say it for YouTube-friendly audience, somewhat friendly. I'm not as friendly as you. I am a sailor, so I do curse like one. Eleanor says people are too focused on black and white, like there is no gray. And that is true. Again, it just goes to being polarized, right? Like Everyone just like, I'm taking the stand, and there's nothing you can say that is going to change the way I feel about this. Hey, on a side note, let me tell y'all this real quick. I don't know if y'all see the setup I got. I don't know if y'all like that, whatever. I got it looking kind of professional. You see that? You see that? I hope this comes out really well, because I don't like using this camera. I like using my phone better, but we'll see how it comes out on the when I do the recast. But right now, there's a whole bunch of lights everywhere, right? You can't see all the lights, okay? Lucy, you still there? You remember I was telling you about the green screen thing? So the the green screen has to be tight, and then you have the lighting, right? Which you light the green screen, and then I'm being lit by lights in front of me. Okay, so there's lights here, and there's a light there, and there was light here, but it's kind of bluish. I don't like that. So with all these lights, see, it's maybe a little blue. I don't want to be looking like a Smurf. So these lights are hot. Jesus, that's really what my point was. Like, these lights are hot as hell. This room already don't get no flow. I'm here, and I still questions about that. Okay, hold on. We'll save that for the end of the broadcast. But I just wanted to bring this up to you now. Please do not leave without asking me your questions, because that's what the question and answers time for. I'll answer any questions. We can talk about anything y'all want to. Now, I want to get to this last part. I'm trying to actually stay on schedule. Actually, I'm going to a party tonight, and I have no costume. But your boy always got a costume. So I always keep a Michael Jackson costume, or at least pieces of it. And then I could always go as Michael Jackson. Like, I always keep it. I'm a big Michael Jackson fan, if y'all don't know. And so I always keep the costume on tap. And we'll see how it comes out tonight. So we were talking about the implications. I'm going to pose a what if question to you guys. Okay? What if the government, and look, this is not tin hat. Just hear me out. This is not tin hat. I'm not telling you I believe this is happening. I'm telling you what if, okay? So I just want y'all to know I'm crazy, okay? Your boy is crazy, okay? I got a couple things loose up here, okay? And I don't wear a tin hat. It's sort of tin, okay? But neither here nor there. But hear me out. What if the government was in charge of cancel culture? Now, I don't know if you guys know, but, and this doesn't get reported a lot, all right? But there was, during the elections, there was a lot of misinformation, and a lot of it came from bots from other countries trying to influence our elections. And look, I'm sure we do it too. But those bots were effective in some regions, some places, very strategically placed to try to anger and rile people up. Okay? Now that's people doing that to us. What if, I'm just saying, what if, this is like a Marvel what if. What if the government can control its own bots? So you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you're on YouTube, you're on all these social media platforms, TikTok, all this stuff. And it controls Twitter. Twitter's a really good one because you don't have no face, you just create people. What if those bots try to force or sway public sentiment or resentment toward a person or an entity? What if? What if there was social media and the government can control cancel culture? What would have happened if the civil rights leaders of old were canceled because they had an opinion? I feel that my civil rights are being violated, and this so-called government canceled. Well, to be fair, they got canceled, all right. All of the people that were I mean, look back at your history. The people that they were scared of the most, they all got canceled. And I don't mean like unfollow or negative likes. I mean, they ain't here no more. But what if today you went to go speak up for an issue? Let's talk about what Eleanor talked about, your right to your body. And then you were making some steam. And then somebody could launch these bots on you and cancel you. What if you started speaking about the pipeline that's going through the Indian reservation, lands that these people have had for a very long time, and it's spewing oil? And then the data. Any of y'all seen Aaron Brockovich, where you had the power lines and was causing cancer and stuff like that? What if somebody tried to cancel her because she was going to make waves and it was going to cost them money? What if a very crooked person, somebody that was, like, I'm trying not to make it political, but what if you had a leader or somebody that was trying to rise to power and do it in such a way that was Hitler-esque, okay? And they could cancel dissent. Lucy talked about it earlier in her comment. Let me find it. She said censorship leads to oppression. I'm a fan of the old Twilight Zone. And it's in a black and white show, but I promise you, if you watch it today, well, most people be bored because I don't think people have that attention span for it. But if you were in for good stories, that the Twilight Zone is awesome. And some of those episodes talk about what it looks like to be censored by the government. Right? There's books that you all probably had to read in school back in the day. Right? You had Brave New World. You had Fahrenheit 451. You had these type of literary compositions that talked about censorship of art and love and beauty. Because supposedly they lead to war. They lead to all these things. You can't tell me somebody who has compassion for art and love is the one starting war. What if the corporations are the ones who actually own cancel culture? Think about it. Your politicians, most of them are bought off by some level of corporation. It's a fact. Most of them receive money in the form of campaign donations or contributions from some type of company and organization. If you look at your vote is still important. It really is more important on the local level. If you change the local level, you can change the higher level. If you try to change the higher level and the local changes in the opposite direction, the higher level will change until it just gets really bad. If the corporations who affect the politicians, who make laws based on the constituency is supposed to be you, but you don't give them enough money. You don't give them shit but a vote. So why should they listen to you? Now, who is canceling everyone? 99% on Rotten Tomatoes says people love Dave Chappelle. So who is it? Hard to cancel somebody who don't have sponsorships. But everyone has a TV show or a sponsorship. There was a woman on Disney, The Mandalorian, and the lady that was on there, I forgot what her name is. But any of you guys that watched The Mandalorian, she made some comments that I think affected the US community. I'll put it that way. Okay? And it could have been rectified. They canceled her off the show because Disney can't have that, right? She got canceled. Would I have liked to see her apologize? Yes, absolutely. I would have been okay with John Gruden apologizing. Those emails were like from 7 years ago. So we're saying there's no room for people to change. Dave Chappelle said this in his comedy special. Taking a man's livelihood away is akin to killing him or her. You take away someone's livelihood, what they live for, it's essentially killing them. Because what are you going to do? Think about this in old world terms. What if you were a carpenter and someone took your ability to be able to be a carpenter away? Your hands. Somebody took your hands away. You've just killed that person. You killed everything that they loved, especially if they loved doing that work. You killed them because they have no purpose. Now you can say, we're all in a positive mindset, and I would tell you the same thing. Then find a new purpose. Don't let them cancel you out of here. Don't let them stop your voice. Don't let people stop your voice if your voice is that of good. If you mean well for the people around you and the people you don't know, and you care about people and you love people and you want to see equality and you want all these things to happen, then do not let people silence your voice. Now, if you are here and you just starting trouble or you don't give a shit about certain people, first of all, get the hell out of here. I don't need you watching my live stream. This is about discussion. This is about getting better. That's what we're about here, getting better. But I'm not going to cancel your voice. I just don't have to listen. In Eleanor, that's what it came down to. Could just cut the TV off. You don't have to watch the special. Don't watch it. You have other battles to fight. There are bigger fish to fry. I meant to look at the news today. Actually, I did. I just forgot to write down the stuff I saw. I want to write down like 4 or 5 things that are going on in the news right now that we all need to be aware of. Do you know that you have so much opposition to Biden passing his agenda? I'm not saying this is a Biden supporter. I'm not saying that. I'm not really. Okay? But he's trying to pass through his agenda to have people have paid leave or paid time off. We are the only developed nation that don't have paid leave for, I think it's maternity leave. We do not have, that's it. We don't have paid maternity leave. We're the only goddamn major country that don't have it. That's happening in the news today. There's a dude that Kyle Rittenhour, House, or whatever his name is, the one that was shooting people who were protesting. He may get off because this judge is like, you can't use the words victim or nothing like that. These people are dead. And the judge is saying you don't get to say in front of a court of law victim. Like, go look those statements up. This is a judge that made statements that, like, you're a judge, you're supposed to be impartial to the law. This shit is happening right now. It's just 2 things that just came off the top of my head. I read, okay? I do a lot of studying. I do a lot of looking at things because, look, man, it's part of the reason I want to go, man. This might be goddamn selfish of me, but part of the reason I'm ready to go and just travel and do my thing is because, first off, 17-year-old me and even younger wanted this. We always talk about one day I'm going to be this. One day I'm going to do this. You know what? You can do it, little Johnny. You can do it, little Susie. You can be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do, put your mind to. This is what I want. People are like, oh man, well, you ain't gonna be able to do certain things. Like I was like, I don't give a shit. I am trying to like downsize all this crap to like a couple bags. This is just stuff. This is a brand new shirt I'm wearing, by the way. Never wore it before, but flexing little boys. Cuts right there. Y'all see that? Man, I'm working out. Anyway, I'm just playing. I'm trying to get rid of all this stuff so I can live a simpler, peaceful life. It's amazing how many people don't support your dreams. It's amazing how you can't find people. People talk about the mindset, but their actions don't say that they want that. I am okay with the fact that I'm probably going to be alone in this. I'm okay with it. I had to be okay with it when I decided it, right? Because this is what I want for me. It's what makes me happy. I want to be a part of other cultures. I want to learn about new people. I want to do new things. After I get done this last year, I do my Spanish lesson for the night before I go out on my excursion and be 238, 39 days straight of me studying Spanish every day. Because I want it. It's what I want. See what y'all saying. Oh, wait. Did I miss a lot of stuff? Oh, okay. Lucy says, does anyone have anything thoughts about Facebook hiding posts that share false information? I feel concerned that even if it is well-meaning at this time, it could lead to censorship in the future. You know, that's a great point, Lucy. That's a slippery slope. It's very slippery, but I think you're erring on the side of what if, right? I don't like that there's false and misinformation that's out there because people are so fucking stupid right now to believe anything. And I think that's where the censorship comes. But then you have to ask yourself, these are platforms for us. This isn't us on our new, this is our news station. This is our radio station. This is what we get to talk about, right? This is what we want to discuss. And then have somebody censor, like what if they censored the stuff I said today? I didn't say anything wrong, did I? I'm just talking about an issue and issues, right? So if you start censoring a few things, then eventually you start censoring everything. So I agree with you on that. Eleanor says, yes, I care about equality. This is the part of the reason I am working toward my master's, despite the education system not being in my favor. And I've talked to you many times about this, Eleanor, about how the educational system doesn't necessarily, or not just the educational system, but there are systems in place that don't take care of people with maybe learning or not learning, but physical disabilities or limitations, I would say. Okay, and there have been many strides, right? Like places are required to have the little walkway and stuff like that. The tellers now have the little audio thing and the braille. So there's a lot of things that have changed. But if you go to an institution that allows anyone from the public to come in, they should have those measures in place to see, can they be there for you? If your college or wherever institution you're at told you that they would take care of you and they are not, then that's false advertisement and that should be talked about. Lucy says, oh, the maternity and paternity leave situation in America is so bad. And what confuses me is a lot of people don't seem to think that it needs changing. That's not true. The majority of people in the country actually support it. Go back to what I said earlier, Lucy. The thing I said earlier was this is supposed to be a democracy, but it is not a democracy because the people are not, the things that the people want aren't the things that's becoming into law. The things that the majority of the people are in favor of, the majority, not the minority in the country, but the majority that they agree on, is the things that's getting gutted right now out of this goddamn bill. The stuff that they're trying to write in this bill is to help you and me. And it's getting taken out because the donors, the corporations are like, yeah, nah, that's going to cost us money. So get that out. I won't support your campaign. I gave you money. Kill this bill. That's what's going on right now. Y'all don't think this shit is important, but it is. Not you guys, but I'm talking collectively. People don't think this is important. But you got to know, look, I'm going to tell you something. If I'm going to get effed, I want to know it's coming. So I'm the type of person, I keep my ear to the ground and know what the news is saying, because I want to know what's coming. Right? I don't want them to sneak up behind me. Thank you, Lucy. Yeah, I try, you know. I bought some new clothes there. Y'all might see it or may not see it. It's too hot in this room to wear some of them shirts. Next comment. Yes, the amount of time that I've been asked if I want to quit is ridiculous. Yeah, because people, because some people just, look, some days you're going to feel like you want to quit. Crap, y'all, there's days I feel like I want to quit this. Right? You put your damn heart and your mind and your soul into this, and y'all know out there, you guys know how this is. And you're like, man, but I said this statement, I stand by it. I know that I'm hurting myself because I post different stuff. One day I could be talking about something serious like we're doing right now. The next minute I'm doing a comedy sketch. The other minute I'm showing you I'm out on the damn water or doing some stuff. But that's what the Simsational Gent about, right? The subject, the Simsational Gent is me. The Simsational Gent, if you want to take care and live your best life, is you. That's why I named it that. Plus, it's after my name, but whatever. Don't quit. You could take a knee, you could catch your breath, don't quit. And just because you have to quit something doesn't mean you've lost. You can always go back and do it again. Just don't quit. And that's for everybody out there. Lucy says, that is a good point about the leave situation, Sean. Power is where the money is. Yep. They don't want to get money out of politics. They're getting rich off of it. I saw a TikTok where there's a guy who he has stocks. He basically invests his money, and he tries to keep his ear to the ground to what the people in Congress are putting their money into. Okay, the higher ups, and you will make in about a 10-year period. You'll get about 10% on your investment. That's about or 10% a year on average, because the stock market generally goes up, right? What the people, the higher ups in Congress and them make is probably another 6 to 8% on top of the average. They make another 6 to 8% on top of the average. Why? Because they have the inside information. They work with those corporations. You see how we got to this situation? You see how we got to this part of the discussion, you all? See how we got to this part of the discussion? Because this was the warnings that Dave Chappelle gave in his comedy. If you look at all 6 comedy specials, yes, he joked about the community. Yes, some of them were out of taste. I listened to Bill Burr the other day. Y'all know who Bill Burr is? He's a really funny comedian. And Bill Burr said some stuff. He talked about the brothers. I laughed because it was hilarious. And some people, I could see some people taking it the wrong way. Man, what is this white man talking about brothers about? What do you know about? This shit was funny. I find humor in things that a lot of people don't. I just find Like, I know I'm messed up, okay? I don't even know why y'all mess with me, okay? I find humor in things that people may not find funny. I have to laugh. I have to laugh to stop from crying. If I let the weight of everything that everybody has, like here it is. I feel like when I try to find my peace, I always get hit with something. I bear a lot of people's burdens. I rarely have people carry mine. And that's the way it's been my whole goddamn life. And I get tired sometimes. And I want to quit sometimes. But I'm not going to quit. It's not who I am. Not a quitter. But I will take that break. And you guys take that break if you need it too. Okay? Look, I can't handle it right now. I got to go on and do my thing, okay? But everything that Dave Chappelle talked about in those comedy specials are the things that we talked about what if? What if we've already started giving our rights away and we don't even know it? Now, what if cancel culture? Because a lot of times I'm starting to look, and this is the part I was going to bring up. I said I was going to talk about it later. I'm going to talk about it right now. Certain things that supposedly get quote unquote canceled. When you look at sometimes what the majority of people say, people aren't like pitchforks and stuff. It's a very small percentage of people. There's people that supposedly want to get their 10 minutes of fame. They want their 10 minutes of fame to talk about an issue that they probably really don't give a shit about. Or, they want to everybody want to get on the come up. Everybody want to be on that come up. Yeah, I would like for the Simsational Gent to be on the come up, but I'd rather have a few followers that rock with me because it's like, Sean, you always speak the truth. You always try to give us something positive. You always try to like give us a little laugh here or there if you can, if it's in you that day. We rock with you because you're genuine, who you are, what you've been through, what you've done. So I would rather real people than to have a whole bunch of people that just smile in your face and can't wait to take your place. That's Lords of the Underground, if y'all don't know. That's an old group right there. Let's see what y'all talking about. Hello says, I won't quit, especially when people expect I will, as I am stronger than most people see. That's right. You be strong for you, not for them. Eleanor also says, yes, I am not a quitter either. You keep going because we love you for the person you are. Oh, it makes my heart happy. No, thank you very much, Eleanor. I really appreciate that a lot. Not going anywhere, people. Honestly, I've realized something about YouTube. If I didn't have YouTube is like keeps me actually sane. It drives me crazy, but it keeps me sane at the same time. Okay. So what do you guys think in the comments? And Lucy, if you got your question, drop that right now about the green screen stuff. Y'all have any questions about anything we talked about today? Just to recap hold on, let me get trying to keep this thing looking professional. If you guys have any questions, we're going to do questions and answer time real quick, kind of going over the time I wanted to, but this was a big topic. And I knew it was going to be a big topic, right? I knew we had to talk about this stuff. I knew that this had to come up. This was something that we had to discuss. There's a lot going on right now that you all may or may not be paying attention to. And I can understand if you don't want to pay attention to it. It gets tiring. It gets tiring when you want something better for everyone else and you keep taking the L. You keep getting, anybody watch that skit I did with Junior getting kicked in the balls? That's what it feels like every goddamn time. Like you're just getting kicked over repeating balls, and you're just tired of it. So I don't want to hear the news anymore. It's just I'm tired of the negative. Let me tell you something. I came from New Orleans, and when I left New Orleans as a young man, a very young man, it was the murder capital of the world. There were more deaths per year in that city than any city in the United States, maybe even the world. Oh, it was murder capital of the world. That's right. So at the time it was. It could be again, who knows, right? But the point is, I would see the news, and every day the goddamn news has some other crime or some murder. And it was, I was fucking going crazy, excuse my French, but I was going crazy. Like, this can't be all the news. It's like it's like they go for the sensationalization of the news just to get the click. There is no news anymore. There's 6 companies that own all the news right now. 6. They're not making profits the way they used to be. So now they got to clickbait you. There's news programs out there that say things that are so hateful. They do it because people are clicking on it. It's freaking crazy what's going on. So I want to be able to I just want to put that out there, you know. Neil says great points. Thanks, bro. I wasn't gonna talk about, I wasn't here to rehash the Dave thing, the Dave Chappelle thing, though it is big. I always, like when Kwame Brown had his issues, that video didn't do that well. This video may not do that well either, because maybe I'm not talking about it the way that people want me to. I'm trying to get your brain open further, because that's what Dave Chappelle was trying to do, right? Dave Chappelle was trying to get us to not just hear the funny in his jokes, but Dave Chappelle was trying to get us to hear the message, what he sees, and he can articulate that back to us through comedy. And he made a statement. He said, man, if I'm talking about you, it's because I see me in you. What the hell? How is it I can hear somebody's water running? Or whatever. That's really weird. Oh, because there's a bathroom on the other side. Oh, okay. Crazy. Okay. Well, y'all have any questions, leave them down in the comments right now. Let me know what you think on this subject. If y'all have any questions, whatever. Lucy says, I think this is a great topic regardless how many views it gets. So important that people start talking about this stuff. Absolutely. And, you know, I try to bring it up in this setting, Lucy, only because I want to come at these things from a different perspective, right? I'm not saying that, I'm sure there's somebody that can articulate these points better, that would do a lot better than I can with this. I just bring it up as just a regular person that is trying to get to that point where I'm living a fulfilled life. And unfortunately, like I'm just pushing toward my dream right now, because and in the process, I hope I can affect a few lives. That's really all I can do. Lucy, have any questions about the green screen thing while we're still here before I shut down the live? Anything? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the camera view for you real quick, Lucy. I'm going to switch to that one. Crazy, right? Magic. All right. So I think I left this on swivel mode. Let me move my mic this way. I want to show you something. So there's a light there, right? And there's a light there. And those lights are slightly behind me. Okay. So they're slightly behind me and they're at angles, because there's still a little shadow there, but that's because of this light in front of me. right? Normally that's not there, but it doesn't, that light is so faint, it shouldn't affect the green screen at all, right? But the two behind me, I have them at equal angles so that the light is spread evenly across the green screen. And you want the green screen to be, you know, some people iron it. It just has to be taut, okay? Or tight. And if it's tight, then it's all right. Did not mean to make that. And then that's when you get the background like such. Okay. So listen, you guys, if anybody who's just showing back up in here again, we talked about the warnings that Dave Chappelle gave us in his comedy specials and how it can be dangerous if we do not heed the warnings. If we do not realize that there's an agenda out there that may not be us, not the regular people, that is pushing cancel culture in such a way that it could constrict free speech. And again, if cancel culture was back in the day, or if, you know, when you have dissenting voices, that's important to a democracy. Dissenting voices is important to a democracy, right? But if you cancel everybody who disagrees with your point of view, that's dangerous. Then you're starting to get to autocracies and dictatorships and stuff like that. Lucy says, whoa, those is mega green screen skills. Okay, so light from both sides and slightly behind. I think I got it. I'll show you the view one more time, Lucy. If it's tight, it's all right. Hey, you can take that one to the bank. Tell you right there, that works for a lot of situations. I'm gonna tell you this joke real quick. It's an engineering joke, but I'm sure it had other meaning too. I know it has other meaning. But we were in engineering class, or one of the classes. I say engineering class, but we had a variety of subjects. And in one of the subjects, I think it was one of the mechanical classes. And one of the instructors was up there, and then, you know, somebody had a question, so he answered, and he said, look, let me tell you something. 99% of the world's problems could be solved with proper lubrication. So that's what he said. Not lying. All right, one more time. Let me move this over here. So this is to the right of me and slightly behind. Now I could have been further up, but there's a bed, like I have a little small bed that's in front of me. So if I could, if I take this bed down, I would probably push everything back a little bit more for when I'm doing green screen so that I would zoom in. You have to play with the camera angles. Right now, I want this close on the green screen just because of the format that I'm in currently, okay? So because of the format that I'm in, you know, I got the camera really close, right? Because this is the closest I can get it. And this is like a 180-degree camera. So I have to have it close so that the green screen looks like that's another room or something. All right. So that's how you do that. And then so I have that lit, and then I'm lit by a light in front of me, like straight ahead of me. And then I have like what I call a hair light. Okay. So normally you would have this light at an angle, so it causes a shadow on one side of my face, and then the hair light gives a different a light on your hair, so there's a texture, right? Especially if I have really dark hair. So just, you know, like in comics, they draw that little light box, like it's a little white little box on the hair, and that's to show reflection. That's what the light box, the thing. And I made all this stuff myself. Okay, so the light box I made out of materials, and I also made that hair light myself as well. Okay, I use a shower curtain and cardboard and lamp, the little clamp lamps, and that's how I did it. Okay. And then Lucy says, I'm going to need some more light. Yep. And then the other thing, Lucy, that you can get, there's something called HD bulbs. And so what it does is those HD bulbs make I don't know what it does, but it makes it compared to normal light, it makes you pop off the screen. And then Lucy said, fantastic advice. This is going to be so helpful. Thank you, Sean. No problem. Thank you, Lucy, for being here. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to all my lovely guests. I'm going to give a quick shout out. This is Lucy from Brick Girls Go Stateside. Please check out her show. Check out their channel. They're great. Check out Neil. I have a story to tell. This brother puts out really good information. Check out Eleanor, who has such a sweet show. Love her to death. And then anybody else get in the chat? Oh, that's it. Nobody else wanted a shout out. Oh, and then you had Black Spartan Club, and go check out that. You're gonna get some fitness stuff. So check out those people. Thank you to all my guests. Thank you all for watching. I am the Simsational Gent. Just so you know, down in the description box of this video is a link to the second channel, the fitness channel, Simsational Fitness and Wellness. Also, did I put a link? Oh, I also put a link in there so you can check out the merch. Living My Best Life t-shirt and hoodie. It's getting cold right now, y'all, so y'all might want to get that hoodie on. I'll probably have it on for the next show, but this room is way too hot for me to do it right now. I hope you all have a great week. I love each and every one of you guys. And in the end, live your best life.